Hello and welcome back to Terrafirmacraft. We will be working on some more quality of life improvements this episode. We have a set of copper tools. I went ahead and also attached them all to a stick so they're actually usable and equipable. And I've been going around harvesting some Douglas fir for our first charcoal pit. Now the charcoal pit is an interesting structure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it here in this moment, but I will probably by the end of the episode at least light the thing so that we can progress beyond the pottery era, if I could think of the proper term there, and move into the proper copper stage that we're looking for, and that's to actually start blacksmithing and working metal using the anvil and hammer. And to do so, we need to actually make a copper anvil to actually bend those materials. So as I go around and harvest this lumber and pile it up in such a fashion, eventually we're gonna burn it and turn it into charcoal. It's a very normal process. It's very common in life itself to do such a thing. Now, what we have here, of course, is our hut. I went ahead and harvested a smooth stone block of, I believe this is rhyolite or something like that. And this is giving us our anvil. A stone hammer goes in here. To make it into an anvil, all I have to do is right click on it with the hammer itself. In fact, we can actually take the hammer off, and you can see it reverts back to a block that doesn't do anything. Right click it with a hammer. You lose about a layer of it, and then you can put the hammer and flux in here. Flux is simply limestone crushed up using a hammer in your crafting menu. Nothing special about that, but we'll need that to weld metal together for our anvil, and I can explain that later on. Don't want to do too much of a over your head discussion about it. Time is of the essence, so I'll just go ahead and eat just a little bit here, and let's go ahead and increase some of our yield on stuff. So what I want to do is go into this Douglas fir and add a saw, and that's going to create some planks. Planks can then be combined in a 2x2 area to give us proper planks, which can then give us a workbench, which expands the crafting table to the 3x3 that everyone is so used to seeing in Minecraft. Now, from here you can do some interesting things. You can make a giant U shape, and this will actually make us a barrel. And the barrel we can use for a couple reasons. One, this will very similar to what we have here with the large vessel. The barrel is also a water container or an even larger storage container that we can move around and seal it, pick it up here, and it should go directly onto our back. So it's basically an upgraded large vessel to use as kind of a backpack or water storage. Now, you can also use these for tanning. You can make beer, alcoholic stuff with these as well, which we can hopefully explore later on. But let's go ahead and make 2 more, because we're going to need these for tanning, and tanning is going to be an important aspect later on to make beds, additional armor possibly, and so forth. So we have that. That's a basic wood kind of crafting recipe using the saw and planks. Now I actually need to go gather a little bit more wood and show you kind of another basic recipe that's going to be needed. We have a lot of these tools in our inventory, and you can't actually store tools in chests or anything like that. You're actually going to have to build a tool rack, and it's kind of a cool mechanic here. So we'll just quickly get some more planks, and the tool rack is simply 2 horizontals with the gap in the middle, and that's going to give you a rack here. And this rack will be able to store, I think, 4 tools on it. So let's go inside. There we go, and place that on our wall, and now you can hang tools into any of the 4 slots. So let's hang up our sword, or prop pick, because we don't really need that right now. A scythe. Actually, let's put the hammer away. Don't need that. Or the chisel. Everything else is fine. The scythe, as I said, it's used to gather large swaths of grass. As you can see, if we just destroy this, multiple are destroyed. But it's mainly for harvesting large swaths of branches. And you can see we're getting a high yield of branches from these Douglas firs, which is great in the long run of things to have a great supply for torches, great supply for tool handles and things, and also it does yield seeds, saplings, hopefully occasionally, so that you can replant these Douglas firs. They are a great source of wood, so replanting your trees in the long run is what you're going to want to do. Now, a chest obviously is just a box of planks, and the chests are your main storage items, just like normal Minecraft. So we can put probably one of these down here in our little camp area. And it's just a big container. Now you can put one next to it to expand it to a 2x1 storage chest, very similar. But let's go ahead and put some stuff away that we don't need. We can actually start storing things, which is great for just our inventory management in general. Need some carrots or something like that. So yeah, busy episode today. Going to try to quarry some stone real quick. Now you need smooth stone. At least I prefer smooth stone to make a forge. That's something I want to try and make so that we can actually use the charcoal pit to our advantage. And to quarry a piece of stone, now you can break it with a pickaxe. That's going to give you basically what you pick up off the surface, you know, these little bits of cobble in essence. But that's not what we want. We want a nice smooth stone block. In normal Minecraft, you just throw it in a kiln and you somehow melt stone into smooth stone. That doesn't make sense in Terrafirmacraft because we're a little bit more hardcore than that. So what you want to do to get a smooth stone block is actually take all the blocks away from it from all 6 sides, and that will actually pop it off and create a block that you can pick up just like that. So it's very much like actual stonework that you would find, say, in the olden days when they quarry off stone chunks. You know, you kind of work with the stone and you get it to the point to where you can actually break off a nice size chunk off of it by doing so. 4, and I think we need 5. There we go. So that's a quick, and you can see there are some waste material, and you can turn that into cobblestone if you need, or anything like that. The best way that I found is honeycombing, kind of touching the corners and then just shearing off sections of the stone. It's the quickest way, at least. So the forge, we'll go ahead and actually place it, I think, right here next to our anvil, our temporary anvil, and we'll be moving things around as we build our base, build our actual home and proper shelter in the long term. But initially, I think this is a perfectly fine spot, and luckily it's easy to move these things because dirt obviously can be sheared away a lot quicker than just smooth stone. I could have made a shovel for this. I don't know why I did that with my bare hands. But let's grab the limestone. Now, you need to surround a solid empty square with smooth stone, cobblestone, bricks, anything later on that you want, and that's going to create an area for our forge. So, for the forge, we're obviously going to need a lot more lumber here, and hopefully we can do that off camera. And also, I'm going to go back to the mine and gather some more resources for us so that we can go ahead and get started on phase 2 of going into the Copper Age. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the show on the road. We have here our charcoal pit. Now this is a very basic one. Some people make larger ones. Some people also make permanent structures for these so that they don't have to keep covering it and making it a little bit of an annoyance. But we're just doing a simple dirt one here, and it's a 5x5 initial layer, fully stacked of firewood. Now, of course, you guys know that if you open these up, similar to our walls here, you can actually stack these, you know, in a total of 16 inside each block here. And so it's a lot of wood to go gather, and it takes some time. So we have a 5x5 and then a 3x3 fully filled in here. And that's going to give us a decent amount of charcoal. And this is kind of the reason you want to spend a decent amount of time going around gathering lumber. Now, I will say it took pretty much a full copper axe in terms of durability to get this much wood. So keep in mind that it does take a lot to do this. The next step is to go through and fill in and cover every single exposed side of your pit here. And you can see it kind of makes a ziggurat type of shape here, this very stepped pyramid. And we're going to go ahead and fill in this corner just to be safe and also fill that in. And the final step to actually get this thing going is to light the firewood. So to do so, you simply drop a torch on top of the log pile here. And it's going to start smoldering, as you can see. And as soon as that light's on fire, you have about 10 seconds to get ready for this. You cover it. Boom, like that. And now you can see the particle effect of this smoke pouring out of our charcoal pile as this thing cooks. Now this does take a decent amount of time. I think 8 in-game hours or so. So this will be done by the evening and we'll be ready to harvest some of our charcoal. To harvest it, it generally takes a shovel. You just break off pieces and you're ready to go. So at that point, we'll come back and take a look at this. Now, because we covered it with dirt being the physics object in this mod that it is, we'll know this is done not only because it won't be smoking anymore, but because some of the dirt will be caved in. And if you're nearby and it happens, you might be able to hear it as well. So other than that, let's go over here. I have to make some more molds to hold some more of our copper. And so you guys have seen kiln firing before. Nothing new here. I'm just going to light these up because, you know, if we're doing time sync stuff, it's best to do these type of things together. I need some more wood. Need some more lumber here. Need 8 lumber, 8 thatch per kiln firing. So, you know, lumber is a resource you guys are going to be using a lot with this mod. And chopping down trees, upgrading your axe is going to be a priority for you. Especially to get that to bronze or above. So we'll just go ahead and throw on 8 pieces of that and completely ruin it by putting an additional block on there. You have to be careful. Breaking our axe in the process, so we don't have a copper axe anymore. That's fine. I'll make a stone one real quick. And as you play this mod, you get really used to napping, which is the process of hitting 2 stones together to make a shape. And you get really quick at making shovels and axes in your gameplays here. So, and I did it again. I was counting it out in my head, and obviously I failed. Okay. So we got that. Let's go ahead and get our fire starter, very basic tool. And get these lit. Come on. Oh, wow. Didn't get them both in one try, so let's try again. There we go. So we'll come back and check on those shortly and also check on other scenarios. So what I want to go ahead and do is, you know, let's go ahead and make some lime water. So let's take half of our flux. Now, lime water and water, things like that, is what we're going to be using a lot here for leatherworking. So we need a bucket of water, or a barrel per se. There we go. We'll just put that down and unseal it for now. So we got fresh water. And then now you also need a thing of lime water. And lime water, I think, is flux inside of a barrel of water that's been sealed. Or is it? Maybe it's a piece of wood. I don't quite remember. Let's try a piece of wood here. You know, let's do that. Seal. Output tannin. Okay. So yeah, when you seal a barrel, it does say what the output is. But I think we also need lime water, which is a little different. I think it is that flux. So you put wood in a barrel to produce tannin, and you have your fresh one, which will just seal so nothing happens to it. Keep that nice and safe. Normally you would order these and keep them in a, decent order. So yeah, now we have lime water, which is great. So I believe I don't know the process off the top of my head anymore, but we have to do a scraped hide into a clean hide, soaked hide, and then you get a piece of leather. It's a little bit of a long process, but we'll seal that up just so they're nice and neat going forward. Put the flux back into there, and yeah, so that's why you're able to carry these barrels on your back too. Otherwise, refilling these with just a bucket takes way too long. How do I make a bucket again? I feel like I should know this. Is it this? Yes, it is. Okay, so it's the same thing as the barrel, just minus the quarters. And buckets of water you can just grab. Now, unlike Minecraft, you just pour it on the ground, it's just going to disappear. It's not actually creating a water source by any means. And it looks like I am super hungry. So I will go ahead and eat. Eat this huge carrot. We need to go harvest some food and be back, I guess, once this charcoal pit's done. So you guys get to see what that looks like. And hopefully, maybe make an anvil. Okay guys, so just finished firing the kiln and we now have our copper melted down. Also, looks like the charcoal pit is done as well. So let's go ahead and get the process rolling here of making our actual anvil. So we're going to do this in a different way than probably what most people do. Now most people will generally crit the copper, let it cool down, break it out of the mold, and then reheat it maybe at the forge, and then combine it at the anvil. Now I'm going to do it the much more stressful way, which is essentially doing this as quickly as possible with molten copper, letting that cool down, breaking it out of the mold, let's see, this is unshaped still, so we're just waiting for these to cool down enough to become shaped copper. Yellow, white, unshaped, unshaped, unshaped. And hopefully we can get through all of this before this cools down enough to where that becomes solid copper inside our container. And then we're just going to try and rotate through these and weld and weld and weld about 7 times. It's a little bit of a hard process to try and time. So these are yellow hot right now. That's still white. Orange is kind of what we're looking for. So that's when they become kind of shaped enough to weld. I think it's orange 1 for copper. Iron, of course, is a hotter temperature to try and nail. Still unshaped. Kind of weird to see. Let's drop these down to our hotbar real quick. Unshaped. Tell you what, these actually, you might not be able to break them out of the mold anymore early, which is kind of a shame. Oh no, you can't. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, you just throw them in your crafting bar. So let's go and try and weld just like that. Get the next 2 kind of charged here while these are still cooling down. So bright red might be for copper because of just how soft it is. Okay, so we got 1 double ingot, and you need 7 of these to make an anvil. Okay, orange and orange. And pop these into the weld area, and welding just takes flux. You don't have to do anything brilliant with it. But I am worried about this ceramic vessel hardening, so I want to try and get these out pretty much quickly as possible, but also still group them in groups of 2 so that they can easily be paired with their cooling kind of partner there. So we got yellows, we got whites. Still, we're running out of daylight as well. It's just, blacksmithing in this game it's just a quick process of heating and cooling, and you're kind of a race against the clock before it cools, and then you have to reheat it again. And so that's why we're doing it this way, just so I can avoid wasting charcoal on heating these initial 14 ingots up, just to weld them together and then let them cool down again. So if you can do it in one go, that is definitely the best thing to do. Worst case scenario, you get halfway through, have to reheat your stuff. We're in the danger zone here. Come on, cool down. Looking for like orange 3 or something like that. There we go. Pop these in. And weld. So we're up to 3. Seven. I think we got ourselves an anvil, people. Process complete. It's just definitely a little stressful, a little bit easier with 2 people, but I don't have Steve with us this season. Okay, so now let us go into our hut real. Oh, I'm overburdened. You have to carry anvils on your back. I forgot about that little tidbit. Grab ourselves our pickaxe. Break our stone and replace it with a nice chunk of metal, like so. So this is our proper stone anvil. We can put the hammer back on there, the flux, and basically go from there. Now we have a bright red one still. We might be able to work this real quick just so I can show you guys. You heat it up to a certain temperature. Can't really explain that real quick right now. And then you're going to be working it. Let's go ahead and make a shovel head, I guess. Okay, so we have to do a punch last, hit and that last. So let's... So hit, punch, nope. Okay, hit and punch, nope. Boy, this is a little bit harder than I remember. There we go. Okay, so it's all about balancing these 2 bars. I'll explain that a little bit more the next episode, but we did increase our level a little bit by doing that. So let's see what we got here. So we got no increases yet. I don't think we're leveled up quite enough, but we did gain a little bit of tool smithing, a little bit of general smithing, and as those level up, they get durability or speed increases. We'll finish off this episode. One, it's a beautiful night, nice glow of the torches. Checking on our charcoal, which is right in here, and you can see it's nice and piled high down in this pit. So we'll go ahead, maybe light the kiln, just so you guys can see it. It takes 8 of these charcoal pieces, as we're pretty much starving and dehydrating completely. But yeah, you essentially just stack 8 pieces high, make a solid block, holding shift, of course, to stack those, and then you just take a fire starter to it. And of course, it doesn't light on the first try. Boom, there you go. You get a forge, and you can fill this up depending. So next episode, more blacksmithing, more of pretty much everything that you guys seen so far. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more creative goodness. If you guys enjoyed Terrafirmacraft, make sure to leave a like so I know to make more of these episodes. And until then, I'll see you all in the next episode.